not flying a bone.
That's true. And what we want to do tonight is sort of walk through the new financial procedures, which I think a lot of you have done in the past, and just walk you through, answer any questions, and show you where to find stuff on the website. And so what I'm going to start off doing is just sharing my screen, which has the different forms on it. If you have not watched the 28-minute video that Jana Ferris and Missy Cummins put together, you're going to want to do that. The club leader, any adults that work with the treasurer, and the club treasurer should watch that also. If you want to, at the end of this, we can watch it via Zoom. That'll be up to you. And if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. Okay, so let's get started. Okay. And so as we start talking about financial auditing, the part of the reason that we're doing this is because, you know, monies raised in the 4-H name need to be used for 4-H purposes. And as you can imagine, with all the clubs around the state, every so often one gets off track, and we had a situation like that. And so the university auditor got involved and has helped us put together some better controls and ways to, you know, make sure that we are complying with our procedures to keep our clubs in good standing. And so you should be putting together an audit committee. That audit committee should be made up of people who are not part of the club's treasury. So could be a volunteer and a youth, could be, you know, someone you know, or a parent who's an accountant or an auditor or something like that. That's just fine. And then by December 1st, you should have your audit completed and send into the office your financial summary, your property inventory list, and your audit report. And we'll walk through all three of those. And what's going to happen after that is between December 15th and January 15th, just to make your holidays a little bit nicer, we'll be auditing 10% of the clubs or entities in the county. And by that, I mean the King County 4-H Association has their own account. The horses have their own account. They're all in the running to be audited, okay? After that, on January 15th, we send those results off to the state office, and then they're gonna pick 8 counties to randomly take a look at our audits, and that's gonna happen between February 15th and March 15th. So we're also under a deadline here at the office, so. Okay, as we look at a financial audit, and I think people are always scared of audits because they think, you know, the IRS, I'm going to jail and all that. Audits pretty much just make sure you're doing things correctly. They help you get back in line if you've strayed a little bit. They're not difficult. The audit process, this is all online on the state website, but you're gonna take a look at what has the club done through the year. And we have a checklist right here. So just making sure, you know, the funds are kept in a financial institution, a bank, a credit union. There are 2 authorized signers on each account. The questions come up, you know, do we need 2 signatures on every check? And we actually don't need 2 signatures on every check. We know that adds expense to checks and all that. And in today's world, trying to find 2 people that will be around to sign the check at the time needed, it's a little bit tough. But we do want 2 authorized signers on each account. And that's to give some continuity and a little bit of a safety net for us. With our our countywide groups, Nancy is a signature on each of those also, just as a backup for the office. We want to make sure the club has an EIN, and looking at bank statements being reconciled, your ledger is up to date, and your ledger, that can be, you know, the ledger that's in a checkbook. It could be an Excel spreadsheet. If somebody has QuickBooks and wants to use that, just as long as it's a system, okay? A big thing is making sure we're writing receipts for funds collected, and a receipt is associated with any checks that are paid. The treasurer's balance at the beginning of the year, plus what you receive, minus what you spend, should add up correctly, okay? So auditing isn't bad, and this is just an easy way for folks to walk through, make sure your club is in good standing. And then the audit committee should write a letter saying that they did the audit, they reviewed them, things are in order, and if there's any suggestions or recommendations following the audit, they should write that down there. And we're not going to say, oh, you're an evil club because, you know, they found something. That's not what's going to happen. It's just a way to help you be better. Yeah, Diane's got a question.
Do we need to provide a copy from the bank of who our signers are?
We'll get to that. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
I have a question about when you talked about, God, my brain. Oh, receipts for funds received.
Mm-hmm.
What about those funds that the clubs receive, say from doing the food booths, and they're getting money from that? Do they need to write a receipt to us that they got it?
No, they wouldn't have to write a receipt because that'll match up with the association
Okay.
spending the money
Just
and all
wanna
that. So
make sure that-
that'll be fine. Yeah. Okay. Any questions out there in Zoom land? Feel free to unmute yourself or pop it into the chat box. Okay. Sliding down. And then here is the annual summary form. And online, you can do it. They've got 3 different options for you. You can print it out and do it by hand. This is a fillable PDF form. And there's also an online PDF form where you can fill it out and hit submit, and it'll go to Jana Ferris and she will get it to us. So pretty simple. You're putting in your EIN number, your tax ID number, county, group name, mailing address, contact information, name of bank and branch. So if you're, you know, BECU, and I think anymore, we're not as specific about branch. If you're at, you know, Wells Fargo, you're at any Wells Fargo. But if you have the branch, please do add that. And a copy of your bank signature card. And if you're having trouble getting it from the bank, let us know. We can work with you on that. And then your account numbers. And this gives us a backup later on should something, you know, happen with your club and we would need to get the bank to release the funds, because even after your club disbands, funds and property that were raised and gotten in the name of 4-H needs to stay within 4-H and be used for 4-H purposes. So that's the reason we like the account numbers. And then this is just a real simple, your beginning balance, your income, your expenses, and your ending balance. In both checking, savings, and if anyone has investments, I'm not sure, please let us know. Lori, did you have a question? No, I guess not. Okay. And then listing any donors or fundraising activities, and this you can add a sheet to if you need to. I know, you know, clubs will do different fundraisers throughout the year, whether it's talking to a group like the Rotary or a union, or they're doing parking at the fairgrounds, just different things like that. You know, let us know where you're fundraising. And part of that is we don't want to be hitting up the same people all the time for funds. So it helps us get a handle on where funds are coming from. And if someone comes to us and says, oh, we want to do this, we'll know that, well, wait a minute, you know, the Curious Kids 4-H Club is already doing that. So check with them first. And then it's just a signature from the treasurer and the leader. And you'll attach that to your audit report and your property inventory list, which is coming up in just a second. And you can scan it and email it to the office. That's great. You can drop it off at the office. You can't fax it to the office because we don't have a fax machine. So send it to us whichever way is easiest for you. And if we don't have it by that first week of December, we'll be bugging you for it. So just know that that's what we're going to be doing. So, okay.
Tractor Supply thing and they get $50 from the association, would that be considered fundraising?
Yeah. So the question was, would Tractor Supply, if the club went and did an activity there, they got $50 from the 4-H Association, would that be fundraising? Yeah, you should put that down because that was one of your ways of getting income, okay? And then your property inventory form, this is pretty simple. Description, value, and location. So if you've got, a bunch of halters, you don't have to say one blue halter, one green halter, one pink halter, 3 halters, the value, and then where they're kept is important because as clubs spread out, they are storing things where people have space. So, there are clubs that have their inventory in all kinds of different places. So knowing where it is, which helps you when you need it, you know that it's at Becky's house or wherever, okay? So pretty simple and straightforward with that.
Under the value column, there are some things that it's kind of difficult to put down a value for.
Mm-hmm.
What if it don't have a value in that column? Are we gonna get in trouble?
No, yeah, the question was if you have something and it's really tough to value that. I'm trying to think of a good example of it.
An old halter.
Like an old halter, yeah, just give a description, like a 10-year-old blue halter, things like that.
Like I have all these, like I have a sewing machine that was donated and you can get it for $25 at the Goodwill, or you can get it through eBay for $100. So you can pick your choice.
Yeah, I would tend to go with the Goodwill price if you can do that, or yeah, checking eBay and seeing what things cost. We're not going to send Antiques Roadshow out to check you on this stuff, so don't worry about that.
They called me off.
Yeah, that's too.
Okay, so there are 2 sheets of that. And just, folks, this is all on the website. If you go to the 4-H webpage, and this is the state 4-H webpage, so extension.wsu.edu/4H, and there's a section that says 4 clubs, and then that's where you'll find the club financial information. And this is all there, and they're all links. So you have a financial management checklist that you can click on, the auditing information, and a sample club audit, so you can pull that down, your property inventory form, and then your financial summary. And this is where, there it goes. I was showing you the fill-in PDF version. There's also an online version, which is easy. It's all the same information. You're just typing it in online and pressing submit, and we'll get that. And then finally, at the very bottom, and the pictures didn't come up, but there's obtaining your club EIN for new clubs. And I know, Amy, you've gone through that. And then the 4-H financial management training. And with that one, let me get to the bottom there. It's a 28-minute YouTube video that Jana Ferris and Missy Cummins did. There is one part at about 7.5 minutes where you have a minute of silence. They're trying to get that fixed. I think Rosemary Woods, President Nixon's former secretary, may have been involved in the production of this. And so there's a minute missing, and it's nothing critical, but you do need to watch that. And then there's a financial management training assessment right below that. And you'll want to open that up. I have to allow it, I think. It pops up, and you just put in the date, your name, print your name, put a signature in there. And if you type in your signature and send it in, we'll take that. So pretty simple to do, okay?
And this is on the state website.
On the state website.
Okay.
Yep. Great.
And then the affidavit for loss.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's not popping. I'm not sharing that. Sorry about that.
Do you have to complete the financial management training before
Yes.
we'll open?
They're getting to that point. Right now, we're not at that point. So they are getting there. There's also a lost receipt affidavit. So if you're going through and you're doing your audit and it's like, where did that receipt go for, Costco water we bought. Then you can come up with an affidavit for lost receipt, which you just sign off on, and that will cover that. So let's see. I'm going to stop sharing. Everyone will appreciate. Great. So questions that folks have at this point. Kirsten asked, Kirsten, excuse me, are inventories compared from year to year? And how do we show if we donated or got rid of it, old items, or it's no longer in use? We haven't been comparing them year to year, but I think that would be a good thing to do, is just look at your inventory from the year before, and under location, you can put down donated or disposed of, if something just plain wore out. So, sorry, Lori, we couldn't hear you. Are fair decorations considered property? Yes, they would be considered property. So you're going to
Purchased with 4-H money.
yeah, if they're purchased with 4-H money, then they are property. Okay. So, great. Other questions that folks have?
They need to itemize their decorations, or will decorations be good enough?
Nancy's question was, do you need to itemize decorations, or will decorations be enough? I would say use your best judgment. If you have different, like lots of different types of decorations that are easily lumped, like we've got,
Draping.
yeah, draping, we have bunting, we have cinder blocks that have been painted, things like that. Yeah, you can just sort of put those together, but if it's just, your basic club display that goes on the back of your dog benches, then I would just say, club display for fair. Okay.
Any large value items.
Right. Yeah, if something's of large value, yeah, you would want to pull that out and note it. So, great. Questions?
I think we have some chat maybe.
No, I just got the chat ones off.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let's see. I'm going to unmute people. Okay, so everyone's unmuted right now by me. If you want to speak, do folks? I'll show you the video where it's at. I'm gonna have to mute again. We're just getting feedback. So the video is about 28 minutes long. We can watch it right now, or if you'd rather, watch it, tomorrow or at your own leisure, that's just fine too. I will show you where you can find it real quick. So I'm going to share again. Dun-dun-dun. Where'd it go? Oh. Okay, sharing. There we go. Okay, so here's the club financial information. And if you look over here, you'll see that, I muted? No. You'll see that it's under 4 clubs and then club financial information. And if you scroll down, there's the checklist, auditing information, and then down here is the video, which you can start up, and as you can see, it's 28, 29 minutes long. So other questions? We just wanted to walk through this. I didn't want to take up your whole evening, but just making sure everyone's on the same page. Okay.